So, Hare Krishna. So these all our prayers, which we start with the Om Agyana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshulmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. So we are giving our obeisance to our Guru, the masters, who at the translations by Prabhupada here is, I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance unto him. So similarly, next we are going to the Chaitanya Manobhishtam. So we will giving the obeisance to all of our Acharya, Goswamis, and Lalita, Vishaka, and all the Sakhi of the Radha and Krishna. And then Krishna, then we will give it to Radharani. And then we will go to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and that kind of thing. So this is coming like a parampara, and we are giving obeisance to all our gurus, parampara, and the final Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we need to recite and try to like remember this one. It's good because it's covered most of our, from Krishna till our Guru, most of the prominent our people and Acharya and Goswamis, they already covered in that list. With that, let's go back to our regular chapter number 3, shloka number 9 we did last time. So anyone remember what did we covered in that particular shloka? It's very, very important shloka. It's one of our, in our list, Yagnartha Karmano Nitra. So this shloka, it's already also covered in our this 2-page document. Yagnartha Karmano Nitra Loko Ham Karma Bandhanaha Tad Artham Karma Kaunteya Mukta Sangha Samachara. So that's the one shloka. We took only one. So I think Anuj Dwej, sorry. Dwej, yeah, you were raising your hand. Yeah, you want to say something?
It said, that unless you do the work for Vishnuji, the work causes bondage in the material.
Perfect. Yeah, so any activities we call as a sacrifice. So whatever the activity we perform, it has to be done for the Vishnu. And now in the next 3 or 4 shlokas, Krishna is telling that one, if you don't do that one, what will happen? Right? If our sacrifice is for us, like we earn and then we want to, our intention is I want to enjoy, or I want to do this and I want to get the return of this. So there are so many different ways that you want to sacrifice, and some of them are directly related with your sense gratifications. That kind of yagna, you are performing something, but in the behind of your mind, you are thinking that how I can enjoy. Right? Most of us from the same boat, we think that way. Okay, if I go to the temple, and I'm not saying that we are doing it now, but we go to the temple, we will carry our list of the item checklist. Like you go for the shopping list, right? We take the shopping list and go to the temple and do some 11 rupee ka nariyal, and then we will ask for 11,000 rupees. So that is not sacrifice. But again, you are going to the temple, that's good part. You are eating the prasadam there, that is also good part. But we need to purify our consciousness. That what consciousness you want, right? Instead of asking something, we have to ask Krishna, how best way I can perform your service, how I can perform the devotional thing. That is the yagna we have to do. And yagna is, I'm going to touch on some of the portion of the yagna which we start from our Shravanam and Kirtanam. We heard that word so many times. Our yagna is, we are sitting here and listening to katha is one of the yagna. We are sacrificing our 1 hour or 1.5 hour, and we are listening what Krishna is saying. This is one yagna. After taking that knowledge and then you implement into your day-to-day life, that is another yagna, which is chanting. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Then slowly you progress to the next is how I can remember Vishnu 24/7. How I can practice what I should do in our day-to-day practice. How I can remember, right? Some people, I think some of the devotees, they have some mantras, the morning they chant. We do have the same Mahamantras, Hare Krishna Mahamantras. So with that, so next shloka is number 10. So I'm just opening my page, it's not coming up. Okay. Shall
Sorry, I
we
had
go ahead?
audio issue earlier. Are we on chapter 3, number 10?
That's correct, Kalyan. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So shloka number 10, and I will read the translation and the purport by Srila Prabhupada. So here, continuations from the previous one, now he's saying is, in the beginning of creations, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generation of men and demigods along with the sacrifices for Vishnu and blessed them by saying, be thou happy by this yagna, sacrifices, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving the liberation. So now purport by Srila Prabhupada. The material creations by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditional soul to come back home, back to Godhead. All living entity within the material creations are conditions by material natures because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedic principle are to help us understand these eternal relations as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedescha Sarve Aham Eva Vedya. The Lord says that the purpose of the Veda is to understand Him. In the Vedic hymn, it is says the Patim Vishwasyat Meshwaram. Therefore, the Lord of the living entity is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, Srila Sukadeva Goswami described the Lord as Pati in many ways. And I'm going to the translation. The Prajapati is the Lord Vishnu, and he is the Lord of all living creatures, all world and all beautiful beauties, and the protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned soul to learn how to perform yagnas, sacrifice, for the satisfactions of Vishnu, so that the while in the material world they can live very comfortably without anxiety. And after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditional soul. By performance of the yagna, the conditional soul gradually become the Krishna consciousness and become godly in all respect. In the age of Kali, the Saṅkīrtana-yajña, the chanting of the name of God, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures, and this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Caitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age. Sankirtana-yajña and the Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna, in his devotion form as a Lord Chaitanya, he mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam as follows with a special reference to the Saṅkīrtana-yajña. Krishna Varanam Tviskarmanam Sangagopam Gastra Parsadam Yagnehe Sankirtana Prayagya Yajanti Hisu Medhasya. In the age of Kali, people who are endowed with the sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associate by performance of Sankirtana-yajña. Other yajna prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali. But the Sankirtana-yajña is easy and sublime for all purpose as recommended in Bhagavad Gita also, chapter 9, shloka 14. So it's very nicely explained here. In the previous shloka, he was talking about yagna. So all the yagna has to be performed for the Vishnu. Here he is saying that because we live in Kaliyuga, there are many other different type of sacrifice mentions in our Vedas. And most of the Vedas I mentioned, I think earlier also, most of the thing is involve the karma kandas, that you perform this you will get this benefit. If you do these number of worth, you will get the okay, maybe a good husband or beautiful wife. All the things is mentioned there. But here what is saying in the Bhagavad Gita is our yagna is Sankirtan yagna for this Kali Yuga, and if you perform that one, everyone will be satisfied. And he is saying that the entire world can live very comfortable without anxiety. And how many of us doesn't have anxiety? We all. From
Yeah.
since born, and when you go start going to the college, school and job and this, that anxiety is always there. So those anxiety will be minimized and you will be peacefully live here in this world. And another places Prabhupada also mentioned that We are always says that after we do this, we will liberate. But in other point, Prabhupada also mentioned that one, you don't have to go to the different planet to get liberate. You can liberate in this world also. What is the definition of liberation? Liberation says come out of this anxiety, right? And perform the bhakti, perform our devotion service without any desires. Once you reach to that platform, then you are already liberated, right? You're what is the point of going to the heavenly planet or to the Goloka Vrindavan is to serve Lord. If you achieve that kind of consciousness in this planet, then you don't have to go anywhere. You are performing the same thing. You already liberated, right? The people mindset is, oh, after reading Bhagavad Gita practice, I will liberate and go to the other planet and enjoy there, or maybe serve Lord. You can still do the same activity in this Kaliyuga, which is prescribed here, because this is Kaliyuga. How we can perform? Our performance is done by the Saṅkīrtana-yajña. There are different yagnas, like home entrance yagna, this yagna, that yagna, navgraha yagna. There are so many things. But what the other point is says that because in this Kali Yuga, those kind of yagna perform very accurately and very perfect way is very difficult. Why is difficult in this Kali Yuga, those yagnas? You will still get some benefit, but it's not like 100%. But why is difficult? Why is mentioned here? Krishna himself is saying that those yagna which was performing in Treta Yuga, like Ram did Ashwamedha Yagya, that Yagya, there are so many different Yagya we performed in the Sati Yuga and Treta Yuga. And the Treta Yuga is the prominent where they're performing the yagnas to please the Lord. But that recommendations here also people are following it. They are getting the benefit, but you won't get the full benefit out of that one. Why it's so? Why we are not getting the full benefit, or why the Prabhupada mentioned that this yagna is so difficult, right? So why the yagna is difficult in this Kali Yuga? All other yagna, I'm not talking about Saṅkīrtana-yajña. Any thoughts? Dhruj. Yeah, he's the one intelligent person. He always raise hand. Okay, just guess why it's difficult. All other yagnas.
Because in Kali Yuga, everywhere there is darkness. Everyone is like everyone has greed and everything, and it's very materialistic. There's very high standards. The materialistic world has very high standards, and you're like, I want to live.
Very nice. Actually, that is the reason. The
Yeah.
greed is the word.
Yeah.
We are not going to get the pure Brahmanas. Brahmanas become so greedy.
Yeah.
They don't have that purification things to perform, because in Treta Yuga, they don't have the matchstick or the lighter or anything. With the mantras, they can make a fire. That is the kind of purity they have. Now they have the price tag. If you want this yagna,
This
price.
much. Yeah.
Then this one, so this much. And if you want me to bring the material, then this much. So everything is like list by list, and they are performing the yagna. And after performing this, they are expecting one set of time, that price tag, you have to pay me this much money. That is the consciousness is. So purity is little bit slowly as the Kali Yuga is progressing, that purity is going away. The greed is more, the lust is more, desire is more. So how we can perform those yagna which is recommended in the Shastras, because we don't have the pure Brahmanas. So now in this Prabhupada is saying that Saṅkīrtana-yajña is recommended by multiple things. That's why Prabhupada referring to the different reference from the Bhagavatam or Kali Upanishad or in the Bhagavad Gita. It says that this is Kali Yuga, and only the one thing and much easier for us is Sankirtan, chanting the Hari name. We have to remember his name. So that's the we have to bring in our day-to-day life, that how I can remember that name. And one of the Maha Mantra benefit, I'm going to share that, Kalyan. I think you were asking, and I already have that one somewhere posted, but I can share that. So what is the power of chanting the Hari mantras? You can chant so many names, but the Maha Mantra, like chanting the Krishna's name, is so powerful. If you do the 16 round in a one day, then that equivalent to so many yagnas, so many places. We go to the Ganges and take the bath, Saraswati, Yamuna, and everything. If you collect all the spiritual benefit of going there versus the chanting the Hari name in one round, you will get the same benefit. And you will see that same statement in the Kaliyuga. If you chant, you will get all the benefit of going to the different Tirath Yatra also. And now we don't have to go anywhere. We can do that Saṅkīrtana-yajña at home. Make sense? So let's move on to next shloka 11. Dvij, can you read the translation?
The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus by cooperation between man and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. Do I read purpose?
Yes, yeah, Prabhuji. Read.
The demigods are empowered administrators of material affairs. The supply of air, light, water, and all other benedictions for maintaining the body and soul of every living entity is entrusted to the demigods, who are innumerably assistants in different parts of the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Their pleasures and displeasures are dependent on the performance of yajnas by the human being. Some of the yajnas are meant to satisfy particular demigods, but even in so doing, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in all yajnas as the chief beneficiary. It started also in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself is the beneficiary of all kinds of yajnas. Bhokta Ram Yajnata. Therefore, ultimate satisfaction of the yajnapati is the chief purpose of all yajnas. With these yajnas are perfectly performed naturally, the demigods in charge of the different departments of supply are pleased, and there is no scarcity in the supply of natural products. Performance of yajnas have many side benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. By performing of yajna, all activities become purified, as stated in the Vedas, Chandogya Upanishad 7.262. Ahara sudhav sattva sudhe sattva sudhav smriti smriti lamde dharma grantedam vipra moksha. By performance of yajna, one's eatables become sanctified, and by eating sanctified foodstuff, one's very existence becomes purified. By the purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sectioned, and when memory section, one can think of the path of liberation. And all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present day society.
Very nice. It was little difficult. In between there was some Sanskrit thing, but Dvij, you did very good actually. So now what is your understanding, Dvij? What we are talking about in the further of the sacrifice?
That when you do yajna, when you are doing yajna, you are making one second.
Okay. No worries. I think you got the point. Let me refresh. What did we read just now is yagnas is performed. So in that yagnas, uh, when we perform here in the translation, what the Krishna says, the demigod being pleased by sacrifices. Who are demigods, right? So to understanding the demigod concept is when we are uh, like looking in our office, right? So we have CEO and the different departments and different level of chief executive peoples, and then again some vice president, president, or that kind of level directors and this level, right? So similarly at the topmost, Krishna is our CEO kind of person, and he has a different departments, and he created those department and he assigned the work. Like Indra has the department to give the water. He will give the water for the rain in the form of rain, and for Indra in still I think Like Govardhan Puja happens, and the Krishna says, why we are doing for Indra? Indra is responsible to give the water. But at the same time, the different demigod is praise, and we are doing the yagnas for their satisfactions. But eventually our consciousness is, when we do the yagnas, the end result goal will, whatever we offer, it will go back to the Krishna only. The demigod is not liable there, that okay they will take it, but eventually that everything what we are offering, it has to go to the supreme. That's the main concept of this. So when we know that the demigod is, and sometimes demigod are very merciful, they are very good, and whenever you pray to them, they will fulfill your desires very quickly. So the difference between the our expectation from Krishna and serving directly to Krishna versus the demigod is, whatever the demigod will give you is permanent or non-permanent.
Non-permanent.
Non-permanent. So whatever you are very desperate and doing the sacrifice with the mindset that I want to do this for this demigod, demigod number A, B, C. There are so many demigods. Different 33 different type of the demigods are there. So if our intention is to get some sense enjoyment or some kind of desire for ourselves, then what will happen? Whatever the things you will get it is temporary, and that temporary thing, it has some expiry date. Maybe it will last till the your body is there, or maybe it will last for some other time. Like, oh, let's say you go and get, oh, I need that this much of money. Money has that, and money and the Lakshmi will reside only for some temporary period, and the way it will come is the same way. In the few seconds or few months or few years, it will go away. So now the point is, our yagna, what we are doing as a sacrifice is, our intention is to please as part of the devotion service to the Lord Krishna himself. That is very, very important. And the differentiations between the yagna we perform, we can do the yagna, like you can reach out to the demigod and ask for how I can please my Lord. Nothing wrong. We can go to him. And if you are asking something that, okay, I want to perform better devotional service, then again you can perform some devotional service and perform yagna for the demigods. We go to the different temple, but in that temple, what is your consciousness? Are you asking something for this material body, which is temporary, or you are asking, okay, I want to do the service and I want to please my Supreme Lord? If that's the consciousness is, you have to respect all demigod. There is nothing like, okay, we know that, okay, Supreme Personality, as the Krishna says, that I am the Supreme. In chapter number 9 say, he give that one first shloka, that very clearly, that he is the Supreme Personality. From him everyone is came up. But at the same time, so when we do and give the respect to the different demigod, our intention should not for the temporary benefit. That's the whole thing we need to understand. Because if you do something punya thing, do the yagna for some kind of charity thing, then you will get the punya, and that punya you have to come back again in this material world to take the benefit. You might be born in the aristocrat family and you have bunch of सब नौकर चाकर रहेंगे, आपको गाड़ी घर सब सुपर पैदा होते मिल रहा है. अभी now in this stage we little struggle and reach here, but now you did lot of sacrifice and that kind of karma kandas thing, then if you didn't finish all the benefit in this birth, then you have to come back again. The interesting part is, there is no guarantee that you will take the human form. You may be born as an animal and the aristocrat family and you are sitting in the Mercedes car. Correct? So there are a lot of if, then, else conditions will be applied based on your karma and the punya and what kind of body is ready after you will leave this body. So after thinking all the things and the demigod, so Krishna is mentioning here that our yagna should be directly related to our Guru and Krishna. We have to, through the Guru, we have to offer our sacrifice and give it to Krishna. Make sense? Right? So let's go to the one last final shloka. And it's little big, let me read. So in the 12, shloka number 12, chapter 3, the translation, in charge of the various necessity of the life, The demigod, being satisfied by the performance of yagna, sacrifice, will supply all the necessity to you. But he who enjoys such gift without offering them to the demigod in return is certainly a thief. Again, is very clearly mentioned, right? So if you are getting something and not you are not offering to the demigod also, you ask for something and you got it and you are not offering him, then is clearly says that you are a thief. And after this, in the next shloka, it says that if you don't do this one, you will acquire all the sin, which we are going to cover in the next class. But today is up to this. The purport: the demigod are authorized supplying agent on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like Indra. Indra is a agent. He has dedicated work to give the rain. And similarly, our sun god and Vayu and all the different things who are performing these activities, their job is, their assigned task is to give us that all the necessity thing which we needed. Therefore, they must be satisfied by the performance of the prescribed yagna. In the Vedas, there are different kind of yagnas prescribed for the different kind of demigods, but all are ultimately offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For one who cannot understand what the personality of Godhead is, sacrifice to the demigod is recommended. According to the different material quality of the person concerned, different type of yagnas are recommended in the Vedas. Worship of different demigod is also on the same basis, namely according to the different qualities. For example, the meat eater are recommended to worship the goddess Kali, the ghastly form of the material natures, and before the goddess, the sacrifice of animal is recommended. But for those who are in the mode of goodness, the transcendental worship of the Vishnu is recommended. But ultimately, all the yagnas are meant for gradually promotion to the transcendental positions. For ordinary men, at least 5 yagnas known as Pancha Mahayagnas are necessary. One should know, however, that all the necessity of the life that the human society requires are supplied by the demigod agents of the Lord. No one can manufacture anything. Take, for example, all the eatable of the human society. These eatable includes the grain, fruits, vegetable, milk, sugar, etc. For the person in the mode of goodness, and also the eatable for the non-vegetarian like a meat, none of which can be manufactured by the men. Then again, take from the example heat, light, water, air, etc., which are also necessity of the life. None of them can be manufactured by the human society. Without the Supreme Lord, there can be no profuse sunlight, moonlight, rainfall, breeze, etc., without which no one can live. Obviously, one life is dependent on supplies from the Lord. Even for our manufacturing enterprise, we require so many raw material like metal, sulfur, mercury, manganese, and so many essentials, all of which are supplied by the agents of the Lord, with the purpose that we should make proper use of them to keep ourselves fit and healthy for the purpose of self-realizations, leading to the ultimate goal of life, namely liberation from the material struggle for existence. This aim of life is attained by the performance of yagna. If we forget the purpose of the human life and simply take the supply from the agents of the Lord for sense gratifications and become more and more entangled in the material existence, which is not the purpose of creations, certainly we become thief, and therefore we are punished by the law of material nature. The gross material thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed to sense gratifications, nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yagnas. Lord Caitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yagna, namely the Saṅkīrtana-yajña, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accept the principle of Krishna consciousness. So very nicely, I think, elaborations by the Prabhupada is, everything is, whatever we see here, permanent, or if you think that's permanent, everything is temporary. But whatever is thing for our livelihood, like whatever we need, the food, grains, this, we have lot of dependency upon the water, sunlight, moonlight, and everything, air. Is the dependency, and everything is given by the Supreme Lord. But we have assigned demigods like agent who has to provide these things for our purpose. But there is the one point may sometimes is confused people, is the Prabhupada is mentioning about the meat eater people. And it's very briefly mentioned here that if someone is eating meat, again, who is qualified to eat meat, first of all, and second, how we have to get that meat. That is the one. Yesterday I was talking to Yagna about this one. Is first of all, in the Kaliyuga is clearly mentioned that the people who order to kill the animal, who kill the animal, who sell that animal, who purchase that animal, and who cook that animal, and who eat that animal, all six people will get the same punishments. There is no difference, first of all. And what is recommended in the Kali Upanishad in some of the Kali Mata is the people should first go to the Kali Mata, take that animal, and do the sacrifice. And also is mentioned that that has to be done in the forest where you capture that animal and take it there, and as per the recommendations you have to perform that yagnas, and you have to eat there. You should not be bringing home. That again is recommended for kshatriyas, who are the soldiers, right? So once, and again, that is not mentioned for the Kali Yuga, is mentioned in the previous yugas where the kshatriyas were the fighters. They are going for the one town to another town or village, different countries, and they are crossing the forest, and there they have to capture that animal, sacrifice as per the recommended mentions as the shastras, then eat there after the sacrifice, right? And there's some rituals we have to perform. But we are not like in the human form. The people will take, oh, it's clearly mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, we can eat this and we will recommend this one. We are not eligible, we are not in this form to eat that one, right? Maybe we are shudras are eating, or kshatriyas they are eating, but we are not qualified because we are going to, like the people who eat the meat, they were what they will do, online order or Costco or different stores. It's easily available. You are not doing any sacrifice which is recommended. So in that case, if you eat it, it's a very severe punishments. If you listen to those punishments, it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam, Canto, I think it's the 5th, sorry, and they're clearly mentioned that what kind of punishments are there. There are different hellish life, hellish planets. I think 18 or 21. 18. So based on your mistakes, based on your sinful activity, you will assign and go through that hellish life for so many years before you will get the new birth, right? So that kind of punishments is there. But our sacrifice is what is mentioned in the next shlokas again about the food grain and thing is, when we start making this food grains and buying it from the market, and this, Krishna is clearly mentioned that pushpam phalam patram toyam, you can offer me. He never says that you can offer me something like which is not appropriate, like meat, and there are many other items we cannot offer to him. When we cannot offer to him, how we can take in our body when the Paramatma is residing inside also? So we should not be eating it. The sinful reaction is too heavy. Okay, with that, so we need to be very, very careful about this. When we preach, the people will come up with the different argument points. No, we can do it, or it has this or that. I think we were talking about the protein is the very common thing, which is all the parents are struggling with the thing, oh, how I will get the protein. With my age now, my son having, okay, he's 17, 18, he's saying I need 120 gram of protein. And when we will look into the dal, it has 15, 16 gram protein. He said, oh, how I will fulfill. So he's trying all the different vegetable, lentils, dal, black beans, this or that. So in our age, we never counted that one. We were still healthy. We are still alive, right? So we can get in our lot of things, especially if you talk to the doctor, they will say the plant-based protein is more healthier than the animal-based protein. First of all, because our body is not meant for meat. So our purpose is we have to take this like patram pushpam phalam toyam. What Krishna is mentioned in again in the chapter 9:26 shloka, he is saying that you can offer me that one and take as a prasadam. Then if you want, then make all the rajma, chole, chane, these all have proteins. Right? So there are plant-based proteins are there which is needed for the growth people. Why we have to give the sin to our kids? So it's difficult. Sometimes this already started, but we need to give the knowledge. Once we will start giving this knowledge and reference, then automatically Krishna will help that, okay, this is not right for body. Right? There are so many bodybuilders also, they are vegetarian from birth. Right? So with that, let me pause this recording and then, okay, Hare Krishna.